Yesterday evening I arrived in Arizona, and the video that I uploaded yesterday was actually taken 2 days ago because the last day and a half or so has been comprised entirely of driving. So although I am tired of driving, I'm not tired of playing a driving themed Clash Royale deck. This is the Driver's Ed deck. So the idea is that we have a few vehicle type cards that have wheels and look like they could be driven. We have a bunch of kids that look like they're learning how to drive and are getting their permit, and then we have the driving instructor. So we're going to see how this goes. And I don't have a whole lot on my mind, but one thing that kind of came to my mind somewhat recently was a photo on social media I saw several years ago, and it was a picture of a cake, and it was on display. It was kind of set on a little platform, and it was a beautiful cake. It looked like something you would see on the Great British Baking Show. I mean, the frosting was perfect. The shape of the cake, it was colorful, it looked really good, and so it was just this picture perfect cake. And then just behind it, kind of out of focus, it was just in the background, but just behind it was the kitchen, and the kitchen was the complete opposite of the cake. It did not look good. It was completely messy. There were dishes overflowing out of the sink. There was flour and spills on the countertops. I mean, it looked terrible. So you have this beautiful cake on a platform, and then just behind it you have the messiest kitchen you've ever seen. And it just kind of went to illustrate that a lot of times, especially on social media, people will present a certain way. They'll put essentially something out on display, and it's very easy to think that this person has a perfect life, that everything's just going right for them. But in reality, there's a big mess just behind, like the kitchen. There's a mess. There's something that they didn't want to present, and something that essentially led up to the finished product. And I do think it's very, very much applicable to social media, because most of the time people will take photos on days when they feel confident or good. A lot of times they'll take it with just the perfect lighting. They'll make sure to present, essentially put out their best product, their best self. And when we compare ourselves to them, it's not fair, because we know what all of our shortfalls, all of the things that we struggle with, all of our weaknesses. We're aware of all of that, and we're comparing it to somebody who is presenting their best self, where we don't know what their background is. We don't know what kind of things are going on in their life. So we're essentially looking at the cake on the platform and comparing the worst parts of ourselves to that. It's essentially like if someone were to challenge you to an arm wrestle, but they got to use their arm and you had to use your pinky toe. It's just not a fair comparison. So I guess that's something to keep in mind if you're on social media. If you do kind of have a habit of comparing yourself to other people, just know that there's always some kind of mess behind the presentation they're putting out. Don't think that their life is perfect, and don't feel inadequate compared to them, because that's just what they're putting out there. And behind that, there's always something. So hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday today, and I will see you in the next video.